Hello and a very good morning. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. This is the breakfast news this Monday morning. Here are the headlines. Prime Minister in Kenya on last leg of Africa tour says terrorism and global warming two main threats to humanity. On Sunday signs 5 agreements during visit to Tanzania. "272 people killed in weekend violence in South Sudan. Fears of renewed instability as forces loyal to President and Vice President clash." Kashmir on the boil after protests against killing of Hizbul poster boy turns violent. Death toll reaches 21. State cabinet appeals to political parties and separatists to maintain calm. Centre offers all assistance. Heavy rains and flood continue to wreak havoc in Madhya Pradesh and Assam. Death toll in Madhya Pradesh reaches 15 per 1.35 lakh people affected in Assam. Andy Murray wins Wimbledon men's title, beating Canada's Milos Raonic in the finals that lasted 2 hours and 48 minutes. Well, let's begin with our top focus on the bulletin this morning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on the final leg of his 4-nation Africa tour in Kenya. On Sunday night, he addressed the Indian diaspora soon after his arrival from Tanzania. He was accompanied by the Kasarani Stadium, to the Kasarani Stadium by the Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, addressing a 20,000-strong crowd of Indians and people of Indian origin. Modi spoke at length about terrorism. He said that terrorism is one of the 2 major challenges facing the world. The second big challenge, he said, was global warming. In his hour-long address, he touched upon issues including the initiatives taken by his 2-year-old government for transforming the lives of people in India. Declaring that Africa is very vital for India, Modi said that with a shared journey so far, he would like the two to move together in the future as well. Earlier, Kenyatta also hailed the Indian diaspora while noting that the relations between India and his country went back to over 100 years.
दुनिया 2 संकटों से गुजर रही है। एक तरफ टेररिज्म, आतंकवाद और दूसरी तरफ ग्लोबल वार्मिंग। पूरी मानव जात के सामने चुनौतियां हैं, मानवता को चुनौतियां हैं, और इसलिए भूतकाल में कभी भी मानवतावादी शक्तियों को एक आने की जरूरत जितनी पड़ी थी, उससे आज करोड़ों करोड़ों गुना मानवतावादी शक्तियों को एक आने की जरूरत पैदा हुई है। और भारत और अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज एक दूसरे की शक्ति को पहचाने, एक दूसरे की आवश्यकताओं को पहचाने, एक दूसरे को मददरूप होने के रास्ते खोजे और कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर के नई ऊंचाइयों को प्राप्त करने के लिए कोई कसर न छोड़े, इस मकसद से हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं।
We are glad and excited that you accepted my invitation to visit Kenya, a very clear indication of the long-standing cultural, economic, and people-to-people ties that exist between Kenya and India, a relationship that spans well over 100 years.
Well, earlier the Prime Minister was in Tanzania where he held bilateral talks with the President. 5 agreements were signed between the two sides, and India has also offered a $92 million line of credit to the country for a water supply project in Zanzibar.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi received at the airport in Dar es Salaam by Tanzanian Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister. The visit to Tanzania, the third African nation on the four-nation tour, aimed at giving an impetus to ties to the country that India describes as a value trend in Africa. Modi's first engagement was bilateral talks with Tanzanian President John Pombe Joseph Magufuli. India and Tanzania signed 5 agreements to boost bilateral ties. India also offered a $92 million line of credit to Tanzania for water supply project in Zanzibar.
We have just now signed an agreement for $92 million line of credit for water supply system in Zanzibar. We are also working on a number of other water projects for 17 cities. And for this, India is willing to consider an additional $500 million line of concessional credit.
The other agreements signed include an MOU on water resource management and development, MOU for establishment of vocational training center at Zanzibar, MOU on visa waiver for diplomatic official passport holders, and an agreement between National Small Industries Corporation of India and Small Industries Development Organization, Tanzania.
President and I agreed to deepen our overall defense and security partnership, especially in the maritime domain. Our in-depth discussions on regional and global issues reflected our considerable convergence on issues of common interest and concern.
Later, Modi also interacted with Solar Mamas, a group of rural African women who have been trained under India-supported programs to harness solar energy, as well as expatriates. Modi lauded the contribution of the Indian community in Tanzania.
मुझे विश्वास है कि भारत और अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज मिलकर के आने वाले दिनों में बहुत कुछ चीजें न सिर्फ अपने अपने देशों के लिए लेकिन दुनिया के लिए भी कर पाएंगे.
Prime Minister said that he looks forward to building a 21st century partnership with Tanzania and offered to share with the African nation India's experience, expertise and capacity in a range of areas as a reliable friend. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the situation in Kashmir still remains tense after a Hizbul militant was killed by security forces on Friday. 21 people, including security officers, have died in the violence so far. The state government has appealed for calm and the centre has offered all help. Here's a report.
Kashmir continued to remain on the boil with 6 more people, including a police officer, getting killed in violence on Sunday, raising the death toll to 21. Curfew-like restrictions were imposed in the valley and mobile internet services remained suspended on the 3rd day on Sunday. Amarnath Yatra also remained suspended owing to the unrest in which over 200 people have been injured. Even as curfew-like restrictions remained in force, violence was reported from Baramulla, Tral, Anantnag and Kulgam areas. 3 policemen who went missing after a large mob attacked a police station on Saturday are still untraceable. The state police has urged protesters not to resort to violence.
हम तो नहीं चाहते हैं कि मिलिटेंट मारा जाए. हम तो ये चाहते हैं कि अगर वो सरेंडर हो जाए, वो वैसे गिरफ्तार हो जाए तो ज़्यादा बेहतर हालात है. मगर कभी ऐसी सिचुएशन बनती है कि वो अवॉइडेबल नहीं हो पाता है, वो नहीं हमको पता होता है. अगर वहाँ से गोलियां चलेंगी तो यहाँ से जवाबी कार्रवाई में नुकसान हो जाता है.
The Jammu and Kashmir cabinet meanwhile met and expressed anguish over the situation. It also appealed to separatists as well as mainstream political parties to help restore calm if they want peace in the state. In Delhi, in a high-level meeting on Sunday, Home Minister Rajnath Singh reviewed the situation in the valley and assured Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti of all possible help from the centre.
The Government of India, the Honourable Home Minister, is keeping a close eye on the sequence of events, and there is an absolute coordination between the state government, the Government of India, the various security agencies, and I'm sure the situation is going to come back to normal very soon. And having said that, I would also like through you to reassure the members of the minority Kashmiri Pandit community that they are safe. There was some incident of stone pelting on the first day, but now all the minorities are also absolutely safe.
Violence erupted in the state after 21-year-old poster boy of Hizbul Mujahideen Burhan Wani was killed in a police encounter on Friday. Thousands of people attended his funeral on Saturday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news now, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley on Sunday said that the Narendra Modi government's activism against black money in the last 2 years has resulted into a sizable dip in illegal assets stashed abroad by Indians. Jaitley also said that the initiative taken by G20 countries along with the technological intervention will make it difficult to keep black money both at home and outside the country. He was speaking at a program to sensitize people on the government's income declaration scheme. Under the scheme, tax evaders have until the 30th of September to disclose their unaccounted income and pay 45% of it. Jaitley added that the government's collective efforts, including taking action based on the HSBC International Consortium of Investigative Journalists and Panama Papers disclosures, have helped in bringing back the illegal wealth stashed abroad, with many people even facing trial.
और हम लोगों ने एक अवसर दिया लोगों को कि एक कंप्लायंस विंडो उसमें भी दिया कि जो लोग इसमें डिक्लेरेशन करना चाहते हैं वो डिक्लेरेशन करें, और जिन्होंने नहीं डिक्लेरेशन किया ऐसे भी कई लोगों के अब नाम पता चल रहे हैं और उन लोगों को अब तकलीफ महसूस होगी.
Well, let's bring you the latest on the monsoons across the country now. With heavy rains lashing Madhya Pradesh, the death toll due to flood-related mishaps has gone up to 15 in the state. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan on Sunday said that 8 persons had died due to heavy downpour in the last couple of days. The Chief Minister convened a meeting of top officials on Sunday, including the Director General of Police, and reviewed the situation. During the meeting, he said that all the 51 district collectors should be alert and agile to deal with the flood situation and extend immediate help to the people in distress. IMD Bhopal said that heavy to very heavy rains are likely to lash Indore, Ujjain and Hoshangabad divisions besides some parts of the state capital in the next 24 hours.
रीवा संभाग में स्थिति पूरी तरह से नियंत्रण में है. रीवा संभाग के सभी जिलों में बाढ़ का पानी उतर रहा है और स्थिति तेजी से सामान्य हो रही है. सागर संभाग में भी कहीं भी कल अतिवृष्टि नहीं हुई और जो बाढ़ की स्थितियां थी वो अब तेजी से सामान्य हो रही है, पानी नीचे उतर रहा है.
अब कोई चिंता की बात नहीं है. अब ये जरूर है कि बीमारी महामारी का गंदगी मोहल्ले मोहल्ले फैली हुई है और अब ठीक है. लेकिन
Meanwhile, in Assam, as many as 20 villages of Jorhat district have been submerged in water. As Assam continues to reel under the devastating impact of the floods, the Brahmaputra River has submerged 60% of the rhino habitat of Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary located in Moregaon district near Guwahati. According to the Forest Department, the floods have also damaged around 50% infrastructure in the sanctuary, which is the world's densest habitat of the great Indian one-horned rhinoceros. Over 1.35 lakh people have been affected in Lakhimpur, Golaghat, Moregaon, Barpeta and Jorhat districts due to the flood waters. Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal reviewed the flood situation on Sunday.
খালি বানপানীৰ উটিয়াহি ইয়াত আছোহি নিজৰ ঘৰ এৰি থাকিবলগীয়া হৈছে. আমি তাত ঘৰ দুৱাৰি সকলো বস্তু পানীতে পৰি আছে. আমি মানুহগৰাকী আছোঁ আৰু বামত আহি এনেকৈ আছোঁ. খাবলৈ ববলৈতো কালিৰ পৰা পোৱাই নাই, ৰাতিপুৱাই আহি ইয়াতে বহি আছোঁ.
Well, the Met Department has said that around 89% of the country has received normal and excess rainfall owing to a good amount of monsoon in several parts. Overall, the country has recorded 254 millimeters of rainfall from June 1st to July 10th. The IMD said that 26% of the country has received excess rainfall, while 53% received normal rainfall. Only 11% has received deficient rainfall. Only 4 sub-regions have until now recorded deficient rainfall. This includes the Gujarat and Saurashtra and Kutch region, which has witnessed a rainfall deficiency of 58%. Assam and Meghalaya and 4 states of Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura have recorded a deficiency of 37 and 32% respectively. However, regions like Marathwada and Vidarbha, which were affected by severe drought, have received good amount of rainfall. Madhya Pradesh too has been witnessing some good rains, with the region recording 78 and 66% of more rainfall than its normal limit. The IMD said that conditions are favourable for further advance of the southwest monsoon into remaining parts of Kutch and Rajasthan during the next 48 hours. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries. Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, close to 272 people have been killed in weekend violence in South Sudan, where troops loyal to the country's president and vice president are indulging in street skirmishes. The violence has raised fears of renewed instability in the country, with the 2015 peace deal failing to quell unrest. Indian embassy in South Sudan has advised its citizens not to panic and to stay indoors. Many of the UN mission staff members are Indian nationals. Here's more.
Government has urged the public to remain calm in the national capital, Juba. The official government spokesperson, Michael Makwelweth, said the situation is under control. The minister urged the population in Juba to stay in their houses.
Desperate attempts underway to calm the situation as artillery fire rings out and a helicopter gunship buzzes overhead in South Sudanese capital, Juba. Fears of civil war mount as skirmishes between the camps loyal to President Salva Kiir and those backing the Vice President Riek Machar escalate. Close to 272 are reported to have been killed. The violence erupted when Machar and Kiir were meeting to discuss previous clashes between their forces. A gun battle kicked off just outside the presidential compound where the meeting took place.
The fighting erupted. The SPLM-AIO forces attacked the checkpoint. They definitely overran it because that situation was addressed, and at present the situation is calm, the situation is normal. Juba town is under full control of the government of the Republic.
While the country's information minister insists the government is in full control of the capital, Juba, United Nations reported gunfire from heavy weaponry exchange for much of Sunday outside a UN building on the outskirts of Juba. Hundreds of people have been forced to flee and seek protection. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon urged Kiir and Machar to order their forces back to their bases, saying senseless violence threatened to jeopardize the peace process. The UN Security Council held an emergency session to discuss the situation.
There is nothing to be done about it, but we have to continue finding a solution to it. I will still call my colleagues tomorrow so that we sit and finish what we did not complete before.
This is an interruption to the good process which we have initiated. We want to continue this process of dialogue among ourselves, resolving issues so that the country comes out of the conflict.
South Sudan marked its 5th anniversary of independence from its neighboring Sudan on Saturday, but rather than celebrations, there are now fears mounting over country returning to civil war days of 2013, when skirmishes between troops loyal to Kiir and Machar escalated into a national bloodbath, killing 50,000 and displacing 2 million. While a number of peace deals have been signed since then, so far none has led to lasting stability. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, moving on now, let's get you the latest from around the world in our World Wrap. American police say that the man who shot dead 5 police officers in Dallas wanted to kill many more people and carry out severe attacks across the country because he was upset with the killing of black teenagers in the United States. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has claimed victory in an election for the upper house of parliament, saying voters backed his economic policies. Exit polls suggest his coalition will win most of the 121 seats in contention, increasing its majority. If he secures a 2/3 majority to match that in the lower house, Abe could hold a vote on constitutional change, easing constraints on military action. North Korea's military said on Monday it will take physical response to the deployment of advanced THAAD missile defense system by the US and South Korea. US and its ally South Korea recently deployed the anti-missile system that will be used as defense against North Korea's growing nuclear and ballistic missile capabilities. In response, North Korea said that it is the unwavering will of its army to deal a ruthless retaliatory strike and turn the South into a sea of fire and a pile of ashes. Australia's Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull has declared victory for his Conservative coalition in last week's closely fought general election. His comments came after opposition Labour leader Bill Shorten conceded defeat and congratulated him. Votes are still being counted, but the Liberal National Coalition is expected to win enough seats to govern. Egypt's foreign minister met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday on reviving peace efforts with the Palestinians. It is the first such visit in nearly a decade and the latest sign of warming ties between the two neighbors. The trip came amid talk of renewing an Arab peace initiative and with Israel's military having recently saluted intelligence cooperation with Egypt to combat the Islamic State. Well, let's now shift focus and bring you some sports news and news from Wimbledon first, where Andy Murray won the championship for the second time. Well, the local favourite Andy Murray has won the Wimbledon's men's singles title for the second time, beating Canada's Milos Raonic 6-4, 7-6, 7-6 in a tightly contested straight set match. Now, the world number 2, Murray, remained in complete control for the entire duration of the 2 hours and 48 minutes, handing a clinical defeat to Raonic, who was playing his first Grand Slam final. With a second win at the grass court, Murray has become the first British man to win multiple Wimbledon singles titles since Fred Perry in 1935. He won the last title in 2013.
I feel happier this time. I feel, I feel more content this time. I feel like this was sort of more for myself, more than anything, and my team as well. They've all worked really hard to help get me in this position. you know, last time it was just pure relief, and I didn't really enjoy the moment as much. Whereas, you know, I'm going to make sure that I enjoy this one more than the others.
Let's now get you the news from the Euro Championships, where Portugal stunned hosts France to claim the title and win their first major tournament. Despite losing captain Cristiano Ronaldo early, Portugal, a substitute, Eder's superb extra-time strike ensured a win. Real Madrid forward Ronaldo was carried off in tears in the 25th minute at the Paris Stade de France Stadium, 8 minutes after injuring his knee in a clash with France's Dimitri Payet. France, the firm favourites, were unable to capitalise on Ronaldo's absence, although they almost won it at the end of normal time when substitute André-Pierre Gignac turned and hit the inside of the post. Rafael Guerreiro hit the bar with the free kick for Portugal after 108 minutes, but seconds later they were ahead when Eder fired a low 25-yard drive past keeper Hugo Lloris. Celebrations erupted in Lisbon following the win, and it continued early into the morning.
Kid growing up, he doesn't even like to talk about it these days. But it's the greatest night in Portugal's football history for Cristiano Ronaldo. From tears to cheers and more tears, this time of joy.
Tenho por hábito esconder aquilo que penso e dizer para os meus jogadores aquilo que eu pensava. Nós temos grande talento, nós temos grande qualidade e essa vai marcar a diferença. Mas primeiro e acima de tudo temos de ser uma grande equipa.
Elle est énorme, mais il ne faut pas oublier le parcours qu'on a fait pour arriver là et tout l'engouement, le soutien de millions de Français. C'est dur aussi pour tous nos supporters. On aurait aimé leur offrir ce titre.
Well, that's it on this edition of the Breakfast News. Have a good day.